Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Friends, before going into the details of the war, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Please support by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We are a strong community. Ukrainian Catholic leader. Russian world, an ideology dressed in church vestments. Archbishop Shevchuk urges academics to understand Russian world ideology as threat to international and ecumenical relations. In a video presentation to his alma mater in Rome, the head of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church called on Catholic academia to study the neo-imperial ambitions of the Russian Federation. I urge you not to be silent, Major Archbishop Sviatoslav Shevchuk of Kyiv said October 19 in a report on the occasion of the start of the new academic year at the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas in Rome. Archbishop Shevchuk, who received a doctorate in moral theology at the Angelicum in 1999, spoke about the ideology of the Russian world, which he said is threatening not only his nation but international political and ecumenical relations. The Russian world theory, or Ruski Mir, states that there is a transnational Russian sphere or civilization, called Holy Russia or Holy Rus, which includes Russia, Ukraine and Belarus, and sometimes Moldova and Kazakhstan, as well as ethnic Russians and Russian-speaking people throughout the world, according to a declaration drafted by the Orthodox Christian Studies Center at Fordham University. It holds that this Russian world has a common political center, Moscow, a common spiritual center, Kyiv as the mother of all Rus, a common language, Russian, a common church, the Russian Orthodox Church, Moscow Patriarchate, and a common patriarch, the Patriarch of Moscow, who works in symphony with a common president, national leader, Putin, to govern this Russian world, as well as upholding a common distinctive spirituality, morality, and culture. A real genocide. In his address, Shevchuk charged that Russia is carrying out a real genocide of the Ukrainian people. At the beginning of Vladimir Putin's February 24 invasion of the country, the Russian press agency RIA Novosti published what Shevchuk called a manual on the genocide of Ukrainians. This is a blatant program of the complete elimination of the Ukrainian nation as such, which Yale University historian Timothy Snyder described as one of the most open genocidal documents, Shevchuk said. This document clearly calls for the elimination of the Ukrainian state and the Ukrainian people. Russian soldiers adhere to every letter of this manual for the destruction of Ukrainians, he said. He said that it is a real shock for us to see the Christian justification of this murderous ideology, to witness complete harmony between the Kremlin authorities and the Russian Orthodox Church. From Patriarch Kirill to the priests who methodically justify these crimes, we see how the Christian faith becomes an ideological tool for promoting Russian Nazism. The justification and call for war on the part of the Russian Orthodox Church are increasingly reminiscent of the doctrine of the Islamic State. Moreover, the leaders of this church quote it verbatim, although they put it in Christian vestments. Recently, we even see their clergy in liturgical vestments with a grenade launcher in their hands shooting on the battlefield. The Ukrainian Catholic leader spoke about his personal experience of what he saw in the territories previously occupied by Russian soldiers. Today, it is obvious to all of us that the evil that has come to our land has a clear ideological component and a specific name, the Russian world, he said. Death in numbers. He cited statistics from international organizations on the current humanitarian situation in Ukraine. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine began, 422 children have been killed, and 805 children have been injured. According to the UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission, 6,221 civilians were killed, and 9,371 civilians were injured. According to UNICEF in Ukraine, out of 3.2 million children who have been displaced by the war, about 1.6 million children are at risk of living on the brink of hunger and face the risk of food insecurity. Attacks on water infrastructure and power outages have left about 1.4 million people in Ukraine without access to water. Another 4.6 million only have limited access. These data, but first of all the personal experience of the war that we are experiencing, show that we are not talking about an ordinary war of one country against another, much less a military operation, but about the real genocide of the Ukrainian people and the terrible crimes against humanity committed by Russian soldiers. If the modern world does not condemn and stop the genocide of the Ukrainian people, tomorrow we will have even more victims, as happened in the past with Nazism and communism, he said. Further, he said, the Russian world ideology destroys the foundations not only of international law and peaceful coexistence between peoples but also of trust in the Christian faith in a secularized world. I invite you to study and work out an intellectual assessment of the causes and consequences of the war in Ukraine, he concluded, with special attention to the ideology of the Russian world, which is becoming a huge challenge to the credibility of the Christian message and objective truth, a serious threat to international law and peaceful coexistence among peoples. In this way, I appeal to all scholars around the world. Ukraine's General Staff Operational Report. Defense forces of Ukraine continue to eliminate occupiers from Russia. The 242nd day of the heroic resistance of the Ukrainian people to a Russian military large-scale invasion continues. The enemy is trying to hold the temporarily captured territories, concentrates efforts on restraining the actions of the defense forces in certain directions. At the same time, it does not stop trying to conduct offensive actions in the Bakhmut and Avdiivka directions, as the Ukraine's General Staff Operational Update on the State of Warfare as of 06.00, on October 23, 2022 states, over the past day units of the defense forces repelled occupiers' attacks outside the settlements of Bakhmut, Bakhmutsky, Ivanachgrad, Marinka, Soledar, Ozaryanivka, Odradivka in the Donetsk region and Bilohorivka in the Luhansk region. In Nova Kakhovka, Kherson Oblast, as a result of the damage to the location of the invaders, 6 units of weapons and military equipment were destroyed and up to 150 servicemen were injured. In the Zaporizhia region, 5 units of weapons and military equipment were destroyed and about 100 servicemen were injured. Information about the dead occupiers is being clarified. As the report states, aviation of the Defense Forces of Ukraine carried out 17 strikes during the past day. It has been confirmed that 15 areas of concentration of weapons and military equipment, as well as 2 positions of the enemy's anti-aircraft missile systems, have been destroyed. Air defense units shot down 1 Ka-52 helicopter and 3 Orlan unmanned aerial vehicles. Over the past 24 hours, Ukraine's missile forces and artillery hit 3 control points, 6 areas of concentration of Russia's manpower, weapons and military equipment, an ammunition depot and 5 other important enemy facilities, including 1 radar station. As the update states, the enemy is shelling the positions of our troops along the contact line and conducting aerial reconnaissance. Last day, the Russian occupiers again resorted to massive shelling of critical infrastructure and civilian housing, violating the norms of international humanitarian law, laws and customs of war. More than half of cruise missiles and attack UAVs were shot down by the defense forces of Ukraine. The situation in the Volyn and Polisia directions has not changed significantly. The enemy shelled in such directions, in the Siversky direction, from mortars and barrel artillery, in the areas of the settlements of Hudov and Kodyne of the Chernihiv Oblast and Saradina Buda, Vovkivka and Unikivka of the Sumy Oblast. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.